Hi, Nicole here from Big Mountain Kitchen and Linen. How clean is your home? Do you know? Do you care? All the chemical ads that are out there these days love to claim that they kill 99.9% of germs. But what does that really mean in the real world? And what do all these chemicals do in your home and in the environment? We partnered with the North Columbia Environmental Society to once again bring you the Green Cleaning Workshop here in Revelstoke. Kate walked us through some of the common issues with chemicals found in modern cleaning products, and then talked about some of the typical ingredients that you'll find in homemade recipes. She then took us through those recipes, showing us how to make an all-purpose cleaner, a glass cleaner, a bathroom scrub and scour, and a laundry soap. Now, if all this seems too time-consuming and complicated for you, it's not. But if it is, she also talked about some of the commercially available soaps here in Revelstoke. We even compared them to Amazon prices, and spoiler alert, Revelstoke businesses have it dialed. The video runs for about 20 minutes. Then we have a Q&A session where we got some great insights from some of the guests that joined us. That goes for about 16 minutes. If you look down below this video, you'll see some timestamps so you can skip right ahead to the parts that interest you. Then afterwards, I'll jump back in and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the video content we have planned for you for this summer.
So my name is Kate Borucz. I am the Executive Director of the North Columbia Environmental Society. And thank you for coming to our do-it-yourself green cleaning workshop. What we're going to go through today is I'm going to talk to you about the different chemicals that are commonly used in household cleaners and why you should avoid them. And then we'll just talk about alternatives. And yeah, we'll go from there. And if you have any questions at any point, feel free to wave me down and just ask away. Just a quick bio on the NCES. We're a non-profit organization that started in 1999. We're membership driven, so what that means is we rely on members to help us dictate our mandate. So as a member, you have the right to kind of flag us for any environmental concern that you may have, and then we go ahead and act on that environmental concern. We advocate for the protection of the natural environment, and we operate under two committees, the Conservation Committee and the Sustainable Living Committee, and it's workshops like this that fall under our Sustainable Living Committee. So let's get started. In front of you, what I'm showing you now is just a list of chemicals that are commonly used in household cleaners. A lot of them are unpronounceable, but I'll do my best. So phthalates are endocrine disruptors, and what that means, your endocrine system regulates your hormones in your body. So too much exposure to endocrine disruptors can lead to your menstrual cycle being disrupted, mood swings, anything like that. And they're found mostly in anything that has a fragrance to it. Which is pretty much everything. And then perchloroethylene, they're neurotoxins. They affect your nervous system, and they're found in dry cleaning solutions and stain removers. So anything to do with your laundry, which is crazy because then you use that stuff on your in your laundry, and then you put it directly on your skin, which is the biggest point of contact is your skin. It's your biggest organ on your body, and so you absorb a lot of things through your skin. Then we have triclosan and quaternary ammonium compounds. Now these compounds promote they promote the growth of drug-resistant bacteria. So anything that is antibacterial contains these compounds, and by exposing yourself to these types of things, your immune system actually gets more susceptible to infections. And then we have 2-butoxyethanol. It's a strong solvent that's found in like window cleaners and anything that promotes being streak-free. So like Windex has a formula that's streak-free. It doesn't leave any residue on your windows and your mirrors, but it does come at a cost. Ammonia is a powerful irritant. And then we have chlorine, which disrupts your respiratory system. And chlorine can affect you in many different ways. You can breathe it in, you can absorb it through your skin. There's many points of contact which can be affected. And then finally, sodium hydroxide, which is extremely corrosive. It can cause burns, and it's used mostly in drain cleaners. So very strong chemicals that we use in our households. And it said that on average, your household is exposed to 62 different chemicals through these types of avenues. So then why should we clean green? Some people have kids, some people have pets at home, and they're the biggest point of contact, with they're all over the place, they touch everything. And so a big reason why you should avoid using these chemicals is, so that your family and your loved ones and your guests and your pets are also, they can benefit from green cleaning as well. The Environmental Protection Agency recently said that indoor air quality is actually 2 times more polluted than outdoor air quality, and so that's because of a lot of the chemicals that we use while we're cleaning. Exposure symptoms to chemicals can range from headaches to dizziness, fatigue, irritation of the ears, eyes, nose, and throat, and long-term exposure can lead to chronic diseases. And then, most importantly, chemicals used in cleaning products are not regulated. There's no regulation that dictates what can and cannot be brought into your household in the form of cleaning agents, and a lot of the things aren't labeled. So if you go to the store and pick up some Windex or Drano or whatever, there's no actual ingredient list on it, so you can't make that choice as a consumer to avoid certain things. And then most importantly, chemical cleaning also causes a threat to the environment in the sense that every time you're purchasing a new product, you're buying a new piece of plastic that doesn't dissolve, that doesn't degrade, and it stays, even if we clean it and recycle it, it's still kind of locked away in a facility somewhere. And chemical concentration, like at the point of source where the chemicals are produced or packaged, a lot of the time there's environmental devastation which comes with that as well, which is unfortunate. Okay, and then so now we'll move on to the good stuff. We'll talk about some of the essentials that you need for your home if you're going to choose to green clean, and this is it right here. So we have baking soda, which is a degreaser. It cuts grease, and it kills viruses. Then we have vinegar. Vinegar also is a great grease cutter. It eliminates soap scum and grime because it's highly acidic. And baking soda is highly acidic as well, so that's why it's such a good degreaser. And then there's Castille soap, which Dr. Bronner's is the most popular brand, but there are other brands, and it comes either in liquid form or in bar form. And there's many different scents to choose from, or unscented, and it's 100% plant-based ingredients, which is great. Essential oils to add fragrance, and certain oils do different things. So for example, lemon or anything citrus is a natural disinfectant. Tea tree oil is an antifungal. Lavender is used in aromatherapy because it's calming. So there's a lot of great benefits. Then there's cornstarch. There's hydrogen peroxide and washing soda, which is a new one to me, and it's pretty much baking soda, but instead of being sodium bicarbonate, it's just sodium carbonate. So it's more acidic than baking soda, and washing soda is used obviously for washing, and it's a laundry substitute. And then there's I've also have on the list here is borax, and borax is a bit of a controversial one because although it's not a harsh chemical, it is still a chemical. So depending on how green you want to clean your home, you know, you may want to use that with your own discretion. And then, so we have a couple of recipes. There's tons of resources available online. So you can just read through the different recipes. What I do at home and what I made as samples for you guys today is the top one. So you mix a quarter cup of vinegar with 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Now, if anyone knows chemistry, you know that the two are very highly reactive together. So make sure you add the vinegar really slowly. And I mean, you'll notice it kind of bubble and fizz. And I mix it in like something tall like this. So I'll put the baking soda in, and then I'll slowly add the vinegar, and it'll fizz, and then I'll let it calm down, and then I'll add more. And then just add a couple of drops of an essential oil of your choice, depending on what you want. I did pine and I did lemon, which are very pleasant smells for me personally. Glass cleaner is another good one. So the thing about glass cleaner homemade is oftentimes it can leave a streak. So you really have to put some elbow grease into it. And I'm going to tell you to avoid using paper towels because that's another unnecessary resource extraction. So what I use is I use a microfiber cloth or like a sponge that I use specifically for window and Nicole's just pointing out at me this Miracle cloth, which is actually, I do have one at home. And it's great. You don't really... this is great, and it's reusable. You can throw it in your washer. Just don't put it in your dryer. Just let it air dry. But it's a great alternative to a paper towel that's reusable. So with the glass cleaner that I use at home, it's a quarter cup of vinegar with with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, which is I don't know why it works, but it does. And it does leave a streak, but I like to think of it as, you know, you see the streak and then you see where you've cleaned and where you haven't. So then you just kind of go over it again until it disappears, and it's a spotless clean. It's great. And then just mix it up with a couple of cups of warm water and leave it in a spray bottle, and then just use as you wish. And then my favorite recipe to use for the house is the bathroom scrub and scour, and it's a really great cleaner for sinks, toilets, bathtubs, tiles. Like I have a vinyl cover in the bathroom, and it's really great for that as well. It just kind of cuts out all the soap scum. So what that is 1 cup of baking soda to a quarter cup of liquid Castille soap, which is this guy here. And this soap you can get in like a small container. This is the biggest of the 3 containers that they sell, but I use it for everything. Like you can use it to wash your hair, you could use it to wash dishes. It's a super concentrated soap, so you just mix it with some water to dilute it. You could take it camping. It's 100% biodegradable, so when you're going camping and you want to wash yourself in the river or some dishes in the river, you don't worry about like, you know, phosphorus entering the water, which is great. And then laundry detergent, which is a new one for me. What you do is you take a bar of Castille soap, it's a 5-ounce bar, and you grate it like on a cheese grater, or you could use a food processor, but I just bought an extra cheese grater that I use specifically for grating soap. It still washes just fine, but you know, you don't necessarily want soapy residue on your food. And then so you grate one of these bars, and then you add 2 cups of washing soda. And this is a 2-kilogram bag, which I bought at Mountain Goodness, which is the health food store in town. A 2-kilogram bag cost $8, and you could get probably 50 loads of washes with it. So that's pretty neat. And then once again, you add a couple drops of an essential oil of your choice, and then you do your laundry accordingly. Depending on what type of machine you have or how you like to do your laundry in cold water or warm water, then it makes a difference. If you wash your laundry in cold water, then just add some warm water to the soap first and then put it into your machine, just so you dissolve it a bit. But other than that, it works great. And then most importantly, you need to realize that as a consumer, how you spend your money says a lot about the community we live in and how you want the future to look like. So I definitely encourage you to be a responsible consumer and start spending your money on things that encourage environmentalism and reusability, because sustainability is super important and conservation is super important. And even something as small as buying, you know, like a 2-kilogram bag of washing soda as opposed to like a highly concentrated Tide Pod or something does say lots. And then if this seems too time consuming for you, like if you don't have the time to pre-make your own cleaning ingredient, your own cleaning products, then know that there are options in town for you, and there are product options. So for example, here at Big Mountain Kitchen, they sell pre-made laundry soap, which is made locally. Nicole gets it in kind of big batches and then distributes it accordingly. So that's one option. There's this called Barkeeper's Friend, which is also for sale here. And it's an all-purpose cleaner, I think it's powder form, right? Yeah, and then it's a degreaser. You can kind of sprinkle it on your pots and pans in your kitchen, in your bathroom, and then just scrub with a sponge or a scour. And there are other retailers in town that do this kind of stuff. For example, there's a soap dispensary at Birch and Lace. Did you guys know that? Where you can get, you can refill containers of all-purpose cleaner. They have laundry detergent, dish soap, hand soap, shampoo and conditioner for kids. So that's another great option. And a lot of the ingredients that you see in front of you today, I bought at the health food store in town. So know that there are options locally for you to kind of take advantage of this stuff. And that's it. That's the presentation. Thank you guys for coming. It's always such a pleasure to see people interested in making more sustainable choices. I would encourage you to consider becoming a member of the NCES. An annual membership is only $15, and it says a lot about where our community stands on certain issues. But included in your membership, you do get a 10% discount here at the store on products that promote reusability. You get 10% off your first fill up at the soap dispensary at Birch and Lace, and then a 10% discount at Rona Garden Center, which is great. And then just some upcoming events we have. April 17th, we're having an ideas workshop for a bigger event that's happening in June, which is called 101 Day. And what we're trying to do is put on 100 small events in one day to kind of encourage the community to connect and get out and meet new people. So that's great. The Trash and Show fundraiser is coming up on Earth Day, which is Sunday, April 22nd. And then our bike swap is the week after that on Saturday, April 28th, and community cleanup. Once the snow finally melts, you will see how much actual garbage is hidden underneath there, and so it's good to kind of get out there and pick some stuff up. So thanks for coming, and I'll be sure to give you guys all a sample of the stuff I talked about today. Does anyone have any questions?
You were talking about essential oils and adding them.
Yeah.
Do you have a good resource for which ones are safe for pets?
Yes, I do, but I will need to email that to you if that's okay. And most are okay for pets. I think tea tree oil is one you have to be considerable with when it comes to your pets, but only in high doses. So the thing with essential oils is that they're super highly concentrated, and so that they can trigger some allergies and sensitivities. So like, let's say you are allergic to a certain type of pollen, don't use the essential oil associated with that plant. But yeah, I will, if you put your email down on I will be sure to send out a resource list. Anybody else in the corner? No? All right, cool. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. That was
No
awesome.
worries. Yeah, I feel like I blasted through that presentation.
Yeah.
And like, I wanted to like mix samples in front of you guys, but if no one really brought a container or anything, then there's like, I have more than enough samples for you guys to take home. I was just worried that there would be more people than I would have samples for, so. And I kind of have everything prepped down here, but I mean, like, this is how basic it is, you know, it's just like kitchen stuff. Like, you got a whisk, you can do it. You got a couple bowls, you can do this. But it is time consuming. So like yesterday, I took some time to make all these samples for everyone. I made some of the laundry detergent, the scrub and scour, all-purpose cleaner and glass cleaner, and doing like 6 to 12 of each did take me about 2 or 3 hours to do, with some breaks in between to, like, you know, not be doing that for 2 or 3 hours straight. But it is kind of time consuming, and if you're a parent or a student or whatever, and you know, have a life in general, then you might not always be able to find the time. So, but that's why it's also important to know that you have options in town for chemical-free cleaning.
It's also not very often you're making all of them at once.
Exactly.
So I
Yeah.
find
You're
it,
not
I find it
making
actually.
every time you need
Yeah.
to clean
Yeah,
the windows.
I
You're
made-
not making it
I made
every
glass
time.
cleaner last year for myself. I made the glass cleaner and I put it in a spray bottle, and I'm still using that spray bottle. So like, I made it once and it's lasted me over a year. And funny because you know, I preach this stuff a lot, and I feel like my boyfriend was very much like, this is crazy, why are you doing this? And then he was cleaning out his car, and the only glass cleaner we had in the house was the homemade stuff, and he was like super impressed with how clean his windows got. And he's the one that was like, yeah, the streaks are kind of annoying at first, but then you see like, oh, I missed that spot there, and then you clean it, and then you kind of rub it out, and it is streak free, which is great. Cool. So let's see, what do we got? So that's that, and I mean, feel free to come up and like ask any questions and like play around with the stuff, get a feel for it. You know, I think a bottle like this of Castille soap costs $19.50, and it'll last you like, you know, I made 12 samples and I used this much. You know what I mean? So it'll last you a long time. I feel like Oprah, like, you get glass cleaner, you get some glass cleaner.
Oh, those are so cute.
Yeah. Oh, and then another thing about the all-purpose cleaner is because there's like baking and the glass cleaner and the all-purpose cleaner, because there is like a powdered element to it, like the baking soda or the cornstarch, you got to give it a shake before you use it. That being said, be careful, because then you're agitating the baking soda and vinegar again. So, and this is a learning process too. What I learned with the all-purpose cleaner is if you use too much of it, you will see like a residue left over on the surface, which is the baking soda. So next time, make it in small batches at first, and then next time, like, take away a tablespoon of baking soda. Sometimes I use just straight vinegar in a spray bottle to clean stuff, but it's just the smell that's, like, the smell is too much, but vinegar, because it's so highly acidic, it evaporates really quickly, so that smell dissolves really quickly, and then even adding some essential oil to the vinegar itself is enough to cut that vinegar smell. So, that being said, when you do take a sample of the all-purpose cleaner home, know that it could leave a residue, and if that's the case, I would just like empty out half the bottle or a little bit of the bottle and add water instead, and then you still have the degreasing power, and but you should eliminate that residue. Cool. So the glass cleaner I only actually have 4 samples of. That's cool. Someone will just go home without it. Okay. Okay, sweet.
Well, I'm wondering how well the Miracle Cloth would be good for those streaks after too, because that's the thing about when I don't use any glass cleaner anymore for the windows here.
Yeah, you just
Usually
use
just fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah.
I just use that. No
wet
streaks,
it.
no
Do you
nothing.
wet it and then
Yeah, I soak
clean
it in
it?
hot water.
Yeah.
I just have a bucket of hot water I can rinse it
Yeah.
in, wash everything down, and walk away.
Yeah.
Leave all the droplets and everything, and it comes out perfect with no streaks.
And
The only thing is, I always pre-wash the windows. Like if they're really
Yeah.
grubby, I don't want to clog up my Miracle Cloth with that, because then I gotta wash it right away. Whereas if I wash clean glass, I just use regular rag and whatever to get the worst of the gunk off.
Yeah.
Then I go out without the polishing. We can reuse that for a week, easy,
Totally.
and not have to launder it.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Beauty.
so yeah, I'm thinking for the cleaning of the grime, and then the polishing. Those things are great.
Okay, so this is the laundry detergent, and I used lavender scented soap with a couple of drops of lemon essential oil. There's 6 of you guys, and I have 12 samples, so I'll just give 2 each. And one of these is a load of laundry. It's 1/3 of a cup, and I made 12 samples, but then I had a bunch left over, so I left some for the house. Sorry, I didn't know you were recording. And then I still have like 5 cups of washing soda left. So I made about 22 loads and then still have half the bag left. So about like 44 to 50 loads per bag of washing soda.
Does it matter whether it's like a high efficiency washer?
Yeah,
or
so high efficiency you need less. If you have a high efficiency washer, then you only need 3 tablespoons, which is about half of this. So if you have an HE washer, put half per load. And this is 1/3 a cup, which is good for like large or heavily soiled loads. If you have less laundry or they're not that dirty, then all you really need is 1/4 cup. Cool? So there you go. There you go. There you go. You guys can keep the box. Yeah, no worries.
Hey, have you seen the soap flakes they sell too?
I have, but I didn't need them, so I didn't even look into them.
Yeah.
Is it the same thing? Just eliminate.
I'm pretty sure it's the same as like a cheese grated bar of soap. That's what it feels like. It's made by the same brand as the
Yeah.
washing machine.
Yeah. And actually, I looked before I went. This is bad, but before I went to the store in town, I looked it up on Amazon, and on Amazon this was like $11, and I'm like, oh, that's super affordable. And then I went to the store, and it was $8, and I'm like, that's even more affordable, you know. And same thing, Nicole. I was telling Nicole, I was like, looking at at these things, you know, like making regular old mason jars into soap pumps. And I was looking at this online, and it's like $10 per thing, and she sells them here for $4. I'm like, well, I'm leaving with some of those.
Yeah. The big thing about Amazon is free shipping is not free. It's rolled into the price.
Yeah.
So
Same thing with the, now what I have here is the bathroom scrub and scour. And so, this stuff is, in a large bowl I mixed together, some Castille soap. I had peppermint and I had citrus. So I made 2 batches, and some baking soda and a couple of teaspoons of hydrogen peroxide. And so when you open it, you might hear because that's the hydrogen peroxide reacting with the baking soda. But what you would do with this is you just like take a sponge, or if you have a brush, especially if you have like tiles, you could take like a brush, just dip it in there, and then you can scrub out all the mildew between the tile crevices, which is super neat. So once again, I'll hand out 2 of each to you guys. These are, one is peppermint and one is citrus. You can decide which ones are when you get them home.
I guess one's wet and one's dry.
Yeah. Do you happen to know if the laundry soap is lock diaper safe?
I would imagine so.
Probably more so than
Yeah.
other soap.
Yeah.
There you
One
go.
thing too, I'll talk a little bit about the laundry soap we sell here. We sell it bulk, so I've got jars and containers that if you would like to buy one, I'm happy to sell one with it. The big thing is it's got the wide lid because it's by the tablespoon. So mason jars are actually a pain in the butt because you can't get in them very well with it because it's a thick gel, or almost like a paste, like I think like the stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, it was like a paste, but I got to the bottom, I just added water.
Yeah, and if you have to put it into a tray, I always say water it down a bit because it's really thick. I sell it super concentrated. I don't want to water it down here. That seems cheap. But I found it was being sold online. It's a lady here in town that makes it, and she was selling it online a few years back on Revelstoke. And I'd seen it, and I had a few soap companies trying to get into the store and saying how wonderful they were and all this. And looking at the shipping costs, and like, nah, other people do that. I don't need to do that. So I contacted Lainey when she was selling it online. I'm like, hey, I've had people asking. I sell laundry things like towels and sheets, and it's sometimes really hard to get them clean without wrecking the fabric, especially with the bamboo stuff. You want to get it clean, but you do not want to wreck that softness. So I contacted her. We started selling it at the store. My customers loved it because it gets out mechanics grease. It's getting out washed-in stains. Like it just does such a good job of washing linens without damaging the fabrics and without leaving residues. Because her story was that she has a really serious skin condition, especially on her hands. And with the commercially available soaps, even like the delicate ones and the eco-friendly, they were still leaving a residue and she was still getting a reaction. It was really severe. So that's what got her into making it, but it works best in a big batch. So she would make a big batch and then sell off the extras. So this is where if you're going through it in a year, it seems a little excessive, but I mean, we sell it for $16 a liter. It works out to be about 25 to 50 cents a load, depending on how heavy you're using it, but you really don't need much. You can use it as a pre-treatment. It gets musty old towels smelling fresh again, gets your front load washer smelling fresh again, because she's using the Castille soap as the main base ingredient. So there's also oxygen powder and borax and washing soda, a variety of other ingredients, they're all listed. But the big thing is it washes out completely. So for sensitive skins, it's great. My husband and I used it when we were leasing a B&B a couple of years ago. We found the sheets wrinkled less. They don't realize how many residues are left behind, and anything that says, oh, it'll smell fresh for 2 weeks, because of residues.
Yeah.
So all that stuff and they advertise it for towels, and it drives me nuts because you're ruining your towels. It cuts back on their absorbency. People say, oh, it doesn't absorb very much. I'm like, do you use dryer sheets? That's part of it. It's not the towel. It's the soaps and the different detergents and all the things you're putting on there. It's those residues that make it smell great.
Yeah.
If it's actually clean, it smells great too. So that's why.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And then now I'm just gonna hand out some all-purpose cleaner.
Well, thank you. You had a big
Yeah.
question.
Oh, where'd I put the
Add
shirt?
to your collection.
I
Went that way.
over here.
You should have brought a bigger purse.
Yeah.
Goodness.
All-purpose cleaner.
All-purpose cleaner.
And this is the one with the vinegar and the baking soda?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have a Sharpie over here?
Oh, do we?
Yep. Perfect. Sweet.
All-purpose Castille soap is not good for cloth fibers.
Not good for cloth fibers.
Does it say why?
Because it eventually, okay, so according to Google,
Yeah.
Castille says obviously it's amazing from removing dirt from clothes. It's bad on cloth diapers because it eventually builds up and causes it to repel. So, and I was expecting that because it feels waxy. Yeah.
Interesting. Stuff as a mom I don't think about. And then this is the glass cleaner in the pink one.
Oh, I'll be one of the people who say no.
Okay,
I have a
beauty.
housekeeper.
You're good.
Is that the bar soap or the liquid soap? Or does it matter? So like she's actually
you want
using the
glass
liquid
cleaner?
soap
I'll take
for
it
this.
if there's one left
Yeah,
over,
for sure.
but I don't
Yeah.
clean my windows. Maybe this will make me clean my windows.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
car.
mirrors too,
Maybe
like
I
bathroom
should
mirrors and stuff.
Oh yeah, the inside of my windshield.
Glass cleaner, all-purpose cleaner. This is the
I'm gonna
bathroom
make
one.
the girl
Yeah.
clean the bathroom.
And then another thing for the bathroom one is I use it as a spot treatment for my whites. Like if I got a stain on a white shirt, I just dab a bit on my finger and like rub it in. You know, then take the shirt and like rub it in like this and then pop it in the wash, because the baking soda will kind of act to degrease the stain, and then it already has soap in it, so it'll wash it, and then just toss it in the wash and you're good to go. The bathroom one. The bathroom scrub and scour. It's in a little mason jar. Cool? So that's it. That's it.
Perfect. Thanks, Kate.
No problem. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool. I love spreading the vibe, you know, like I love being to show people that there are alternatives and that they are effective. And with anything, you know, obviously use at your discretion, but like if it's not working for you, then you can look up another recipe. There's just tons of resources available. And if you wrote down your email on the sign-in sheet, then I'll be sure, like I have a 4-page resource document that kind of divides your house by room and goes through like different alternatives and alternative cleaners for each room. So I'll send that out to you guys as well. Cool. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Hello again. I hope you found that video useful. Our store, Big Mountain Kitchen and Linen, is here to support you in living well without breaking the budget. We're always happy to answer questions about what tools really make sense for the recipe you're trying, which is why we're moving to producing more video content this summer. Join us every Saturday morning during the farmers markets in downtown Revelstoke for a demonstration of some skill or tool to make cooking a simpler experience. We'll be partnering with other local businesses and artisans to showcase the wealth of knowledge in our city. For those who are out of town or camping on a Saturday, we'll also be broadcasting that video live on Facebook and YouTube so that you can watch just like this one here at a time that's more convenient for you. We'll also be doing some editing, just like we did on this video, so that we can build our library of information so that we can help you learn to use the tools that we sell. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Follow us on the website or just pop into the store regularly to get some inspiration on how to live that big mountain lifestyle.